All right. So, hey everyone, welcome to Clarity Sessions. The Clarity Session is like a session for us whereby the goal is to help people to be able to get clarity. Started with like me having a conversation about something that I thought I knew, and then I sort of kind of realized that okay, there are a lot of people that know that thing that I don't know that can share to people who want to know what they know. So, I've literally spoken on Clarity Session. This is like the third year. I've spoken on it just once, and that was the first ever one. For the other years, we have multiple people come to speak on. Now, I don't mind. I don't mind having multiple people speak on it. I think the goal is to get people to be able to listen and then understand what we're saying. Today, we have Fikun Aluko, a man of plenty, a man of plenty accolades. Fikun is firstly an amazing person. Interestingly, we had met somewhere else before we knew that we were attending the same church. I was like, hi. And but beyond that, I know that Fikun works at Skill Harvest and a few other places to sort of help people to be able to develop their skills. And the conversation that we are going to have, particularly today, is growth, a constant in life. And I think beyond just career growth, entrepreneurial growth, it's also diverging into like personal growth. A lot of time people see growth as a bad thing, or people don't even recognize when it is time to grow. Like you can be currently in like a situation and you're like, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Why is this colleague fighting me daily? Why do I always get feedback on my work? And I think for me, just being recognized, like, okay, you've spent enough time in in the things that you know that you have to grow, seeing that it's such a very important conversation. Um, so yeah, we're happy to have Fikun, and I'll just hand over the mic to Fikun to go on with the conversation.
Thank you so much, Nifemi. Great to be here, everyone. It's beautiful to be here with you all. My name is Fikun Aluko. I I popularly call myself a growth catalyst. I really enjoy supporting people to grow, platform, individuals, organization. I just believe that it's just awesome when you can help people to move from point A to point B. It's an incredible experience. So currently I work in tech and also I'm very big on personal development. And that's why I'm here today to share on growth, a few of my experiences. I imagine it's going to be a very beautiful conversation with you all and also something that we can all learn together. So I'll share some few thoughts, just looking through personally in my own life and some incredible moments. And one story that really comes to mind that I really want to start with this on this episode is to talk to you about a time when I was trying to get a scholarship. And for about almost 5 years or 6 years thereabout, I attempted to get a scholarship and it was challenging. You know, I remember the first time I tried to apply for the scholarship, I just did my best. I was probably serving then as a youth corps. I just did my best and I was very optimistic, really optimistic that, oh man, I'm going to get this scholarship. But to my greatest disappointment then, I was served, uh, please try again next time. That kind of email. We regret
It's after breakfast.
we regretted that this scholarship, something you are an amazing candidate, is just not gonna not this time around, and it was very painful. And then I attempted the second time, and that seems to me very courageous because it took a lot of time, effort. Is something that probably going to spend like 3 months investing time to gathering requirements, documentation. It's something that is very, very time consuming. So the second time I tried it again, that I'm going to apply for the scholarship again, regret email second time. And the funniest thing is that, and I'm going to drop this. One of my big sister, son that I'm in relationship with, then kind of asked me that, oh, do this, do that, but I just ignored the conversation. I just thought this person, if you want to help me, you will have helped me this particular way. So I was expecting her to help me this particular way. So I ignored the conversation about all her suggestions. I just ignored it, and I was wallowing in that seemingly depression. I was a bit depressed because I felt a bit hopeless, really, really tired, drained, that like this scholarship is my way out of the trenches, as you can imagine. And now it's not coming true. What's going on? Am I not good enough? Start doubting myself. It was very, very emotional and very trying moment for me. So I took a break. In the next year, when the scholarship opened, I didn't apply. I could say probably I lost hope. So I just faced other things I can control, like my career, just faced other things. But during those times, I kept speaking, supporting people, launch different platforms. I kept working, and then after a few years, something just happened. Some people within my network really reached out to me and say, Fikun, apply for this scholarship. I love them to come. Interestingly, they are younger than me. So those two people that reached out, they were both younger than me. So I love them to come. That these guys, you don't know anything. I've done this in the last 4 years. I mean, like last 5 years by that time. I'm not making any headway. You guys are just waking up. Probably have this unnecessary energy, and you think don't worry, life will humble you.
Exactly.
That kind of perspective. People that's why people get burnt. They build some perspective and philosophy out of their pain, and they start using it to guide other people in form of mentorship. So I was leaning towards that. I was becoming more cynical. Not optimistic about it, more of discouraging them. But you know what? I just believe. I know, I believe in God. I big on God. I believe it's just God that pushed me and kind of nudged me that this time around, try, just try, So I decided that I'm going to try because it was just very unique. All those people they're literally on my case and say, although they're like my junior ones, like people that are probably senior, that I'm mentoring, I'm supporting, they say, you have to apply for this scholarship. So I decided to apply this time around, and I poured myself into it. Now that's where I'm going with this story. I'm going to share some very interesting perspectives. So don't follow me. So follow me closely. I know it's a very long, but very interesting story for me. I hope you find it interesting also. So I decided to pour myself into it, but this time around I did a different thing. I reached out to a lot of network of people, about 30 people that have probably secured that scholarship before. They have gotten to this, they've gotten the scholarship, they've traveled, they've done big things. And I was very audacious. I was sending messages on LinkedIn like my life depends on it. Reaching out to people outside my country, different my industry. I was I just poured myself into it. I look for different groups that people have organized for the scholarship. I attend almost every webinar. I watch almost 2 years of videos that I can find on YouTube on the scholarship. Literally for 6 months, that was just my life. I just poured myself into it. Literally, I have no life after work, evening and weekend, just working on this scholarship. It was tall. It was tall order of drilling. I read everything I can find online, and I drafted my application. Look for everybody within my network that is exceptionally good in communication and ask them to review it. So literally I leverage network, internet access, and to my shockingly, I got the scholarship. I was so overwhelmed with joy. I was in disbelief for a very extended period of time, processing the scholarship, because I was 50 out of 8,000 people that applied for the scholarship. That's 0.06%. So I was thinking, if it has to do with skill, am I in top 0.6%, 0.06%, 0.06? So it was very tiny, minute group of people. So it was like passing, trying to find a pin in a haystack kind of chance. So it has nothing to do with, I think it has not entirely have to do with probably your capacity. There's a bit of luck, but reflecting, I believe God was on my side. 1, 2, I believe luck was on my side, and more important, I think effort speaks. And that's where I'm going with this conversation. We'll talk about growth. So, in retrospect, when I look about that story, it kind of typify for me my growth and evolution. First, when I compare my first application with my third application, it's like more than 50 kilometers apart in quality. So it makes sense to me why they won't give me that scholarship. They won't give me that scholarship. The application was poor. No matter how depressed I was, how tired I was then, it doesn't make sense for me to get that scholarship because the quality is as low as possible. But my growth over that 6 years period reshaped the way I see things, the way I communicated, the network that I have access to, the group of people that could help me. At the first 6 years, 6 years ago, I don't have access to that network. I don't think that way. I don't think things that way. I don't have experiences. I don't have results to boast about. I don't have those things. So literally, the difference between the first application and the third application after 6 years was the growth, not really the year. It was the growth. I could have grown probably 3 years if I know what to probably develop. I would have grown probably 2 years, but I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have the network. I didn't have the lenses. I didn't have the perspective. So I have to spend 6 years transforming myself, disconstructing my perspective, learning new way of doing things, assessing new network, consuming just a lot of information to become that refined version of me that can get that scholarship. And for me, that's the essence of growth. In growth, the idea of growth is that it's about who you become. It's not about what you do or what you have. Because if for you to do consistently and to have consistent, you have to become. And that's the idea we are human being, we're not the human doing. Because if you do, or if you become arbitrary without growth, without becoming, you will always reverse back to your base. You won't be able to sustain that level of accomplishment or goal or that experience. Apart from the this is different from importance. You are just the person just lacks competence to live at that level, competent to retain that post, competent to manage that volume of money, competent to manage the relationship. Is about competence, So what growth does is more of transforming individuals. It transforms us to become that version of ourselves that can accomplish our goal. And that's the conundrum between the goal and the growth. Sometimes you have goals that you can accomplish because you are not that kind of person that is built to accomplish those goals. So they frustrate you. And that's why I advocate a lot for growth in personal life, in work, and in business and relationship, because you become that version of persons or that individual that can accomplish your goal. I will take a breather now, but see, I have a few small stuff to share just to hear from you guys or for the moderator.
So, and thank you for sharing very honestly and very truthfully. It's not easy to share your failures as a part of a process as well. But one thing that I found very interesting in what you were sharing, I think is part of the last thing that you said, which is you can't sustain a level of development or capacity or success, actually. You can't sustain a level of success or accomplishment if you have not grown to be that person as well. Which now brings me to the point of thinking around the correlation between when you attain a success. So does the attaining of success match the level of your growth? Or does the maintaining of success match the level of your growth? Because people win lottery. That's success. Not everyone can maintain the money won in lottery.
Yes.
So are we saying growth is paramount or is perpendicular to the level of success that you can maintain, not attain?
I think so. I think that would be a good way to summarize the points. And more importantly, it's also about beyond maintenance, is consistent progress. You see people, it seems some people they can, it's beyond maintenance. So some people can maintain. To your point, you need to be furnished with a set of skill sets, mindset, and tools and capability to maintain success at a particular level. So if you don't have those capabilities, the tendency for you for things to slide down is very high, because it seems that in life the law of gravity just acts on everything that is good. Everything that is worthwhile is up the hill. If something is worthwhile, is valuable, it's up the hill. You have to put the prayer to keep it there, and your capacity to put that prayer is because of who you are. And one person was saying something. He was talking about his community, his religious community. He said, if I want to kill anybody, all I have to do is to hand over my religious community to that person to manage, because they didn't grow with that religious community from probably when they are 10 to now when they are 10,000, 100,000. They lack the capacity to maintain that community, because that individual, probably the pioneer, grew over period of time with the community. So even though there are hundreds of thousands now, it's nothing. And he has even the capacity to take it. To your point, yes, what you can maintain is informed by your capacity. More importantly, even what you can grow, you can make progress on.
Yeah, it's a very unique perspective. So my question would be, I know you're trying to take a breather, so my question would be, so attaining success, and I'm using very loose words now. Attaining success, let's assume it's very easy. Yeah, I
Yes,
can enter a conversation with you, and you're like, oh, let me give you a contract of $50 million for you to build something, and I attain that success. Now, I might not be at the level of, let's say, someone that has managed $100 billion contract before, and this is my
yes.
first time of ever getting to that place. How do you use growth? What kind of growth principles can you have in mind when you attain success without having the capacity yet to have maintained that success? Is that
Yeah.
clear?
So, I mean, we're trying to deconstruct people that do that, right? How they have. Okay, I think ideally, like I said, work the world is not structured to work to run ideally, right? Things don't work the way they should work. So ideally
Mhm.
people should become so that they can do and have,
Yeah.
accomplishing $100 million is a goal of something you want to do or something you want to have. So ideally what I should do is to disconstruct that goal and say that who must I become, what skill must I acquire so that I can do that. But to your point, there are situations where life, probably by luck or by chance, you born to a wealthy family. Now your the person's parent passes, right? And now they want that individual to manage the wealth. Ideally that individual is not equipped, to your point, but now they have the goal, or they have this ambition to have the goal. I think ideally it's more of the change in people's perspective or how things should work. Because when you look at doing things and having things is very tangible most times and is
Yeah.
quantifiable and give this sense of instant satisfaction. So
Mhm.
we don't typically think as human being that about our character. Very sometimes people
Yeah.
talk about vision, about those non-tangible things that influence the tangible things. So I won't say it's abnormal for people to think that way. Actually, most people think that way. We said if you look at people's goal, it's about what they want to have or what they want to what they want to do. Really about
Yeah.
who they want to become.
Who they
And
want to
that's
become? Yeah.
it's really about people really talk about who they want to become. Even when I want to lose weight, it's about what you want to have. You want to have this X and Y body. It's not about who you're becoming. That I want to become my more kind person. I want to have more clarity in my life. I want to become more passionate person. Those are something very subtle that people sometimes it's even hard to measure. And that's why the beauty of this conversation we're having. How do you measure something that it's not as if those have and do's that are very tangible and concrete are not
Yeah.
important, but the becoming influence how much of them that you can have or even maintain. And without them, even the things you are gunning for to have and do, they frustrate you because
Yeah.
you can't attract those things. And if they drop it on your lap, you will lose it because it's not who you are
Yes.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying this because it's very, what's the word? It's practical,
Yeah.
but yeah, sort of like a bit more mind shifting because you're saying now that, I mean, what we're both saying now is that
Yes.
the way that the structure is supposed to work is it's first thinking about who do I want to become in this
Yes.
place rather than asking myself that what do I want to do. And when we
Yes.
think about goal setting or even growth plan, it's always setting up that we want to achieve this. So you're saying that, so for example, as Modeling Inspires, for example, we're setting a goal for the next half year of the year. So
Yes.
we're first asking ourselves that who do we want to become? What does the company want to become? And
Yes.
then whatever goals we set kind of cascades from that definition of what we want to become. Let me give you an example and something that
Yeah.
we can speak about. So, and it's almost like a personal example. Think about someone that is very, so I used to be very bad financially, like money comes, money goes, money comes, money goes. I switched in such a way whereby now, if you give me money, the first thing I'm thinking about is saving. But then I sort of realized that now, even when I save, I end up spending it because I don't have a structure for what I use the savings for. So, in that sort of context, now, for example, how do you set a goal? Because at the end of the day, I'm doing things, making
Yes.
money, I'm saving money, but it almost feels like you said, you are repeating the circle. So you're not able to maintain and
Mm.
grow past that level because you are so how in that kind of example, how would you define the person saying, okay, what do I want to become? And then setting goals from that.
Excellent. So when it comes to, I mean, that's a very practical situation. I'm very happy you bringing that up. When also we're going to get to that to some of those other ideas. I want to share about the benefit of the growth. I would like to share about the different, how growth and goal complement each other. I want to share about the principle of growth and those other things that we share. So we're going to talk about, but one of the important things we talk about that I want to probably bring forward now is the place of knowledge. You know, I have to know me to grow me. So I have this popular code. Many people have dated other people, they've not dated themselves. You need to date yourself, like you spend enough time with yourself to know yourself. So when it comes to, for instance, and there are many things that are very niche focused. When it comes to money, money is purely an emotional, it's more emotional than skill. It's about emotional discipline and management. So for the kind of scenario you just painted, I think my perspective would be, okay, how can this person really manage? So there could be delayed gratification for what purpose? So you have this delayed capacity to probably one, you can restrain yourself from impulsive buying or spending. That's one, but that's the one layer in the plan that you're building. The second thing is that and another principle I'm going to share, true reflection. Reflection is one of the most powerful principles that you can use. Through reflection, you start saying, okay, we've moved past this impulsive buying stage. Where are we now? We're at a place that we're not being able to maximize what we're saving. Then it comes to knowledge gap, because if you're saving, literally in money times, savings don't make you rich. It is what you do with those investments. So what you save to build a stone, you invest a stone to get sands because you spend sand. That's your idea. People save to get a lot of sand. Those sand, they turn it to stone. That is, they want to have bulk money capable of substantial investment. So it's a goal. So again, the idea is that I build that capacity of becoming that person that can manage my emotion, which is about changing who you are. It's about transformation. It's not about doing so. You can manage that's transformation. But beyond that, now I'm training my mind to understand how to invest. So I'm thinking like a business person. Business is a mindset. You come to an environment, everybody's complaining, and they can spot business opportunity or investment opportunity because it's how they think. It's how they think. So it's not about this investment or not. It's about their mindsets, who they are when they think about money management, money multiplication. They see money, they are thinking. So to your point, I'm saying that the transformation, like the scenario you just painted, is like a journey. That person have conquered the first stage. The next stage is that through reflection, you can say, okay, because I'm dating myself. And as I'm dating myself and gathering information, I can reflect and say, okay, I've conquered this first stage. The next stage is that I have to transform my mind now to start thinking about multiplication of wealth, which is a progress and which is essence of journey or the journey of growth. When you think about growth, it's not about really destination. It's about who you are becoming. So I will really, really applaud in a big way and celebrate that person that make that initial momentary shift from that emotional discipline of even being able to delay gratification. Then they need to layer that second layer of saying, how do I transform my mind to see how to invest money to multiply it, which is the next step.
And that's very, very interesting. So I was thinking of a question, but it sort of escaped my mind. It would come back to me. But I think it's very interesting because a lot of times we don't necessarily see it that way. I have the question back. The question is, so with the process of growth, for example, one of the things that strikes people a lot, and I know that I will allow you to go through your notes after this question, but I prefer, personally, I like just, because I feel like there's a lot more that is not said if you don't have a book. So in process of growth, one of the people that people struggle with, and I'm speaking loosely now because I don't have the fact, but what I think people struggle with is the concept of guilt tripping. So in the sense whereby, and let's go back to the same example. So you've made some progress. You've seen that you've made like tangible progress. You can tell yourself that you've made, and there's fact and data to prove that you've made tangible progress. Now you sleep. Because you don't have enough knowledge to be able to maintain that progress. When people regress in that sort of way, one of the things that I've seen that hinders growth is the ability to forgive themselves and not define themselves by that regression. So when people sleep, they spend a lot of time mourning that sleep rather than actually finding a way to say, okay, I have slept. Like you said, date yourself. I have slept. I was here before, I slept here. Now, for me to be able to climb beyond where I was before, I need to do this, and this. But I've noticed and I've seen that people spend a lot of time beating themselves down, mourning that sleep. So are there practical steps that people can take to say, okay, I have slept. I was supposed to grow in my career in this way because I have a habit of coming late to the office. I've stagnated in a while. How can I now take that opportunity and grow practically rather than mourning that event?
Thank you. I think that's a very practical challenge that most people deal with. I don't want to use generic word that everybody deals with that to some mayor, and it's an healthy challenge. You know, if you don't have conscience, if you don't have standard, if you don't have something you aspire to, you won't have that feeling because you don't,
Yeah.
and to be bothered about sleeping below a standard you set for yourself is something. There's something there. There's something there. You understand? There's something there because most people don't care. So that you care. The question is that probably you are caring too much. Now it goes back to the part of the fundamental principle of growth, which is you need to be very ridiculously furnished with knowledge at a ridiculous level, because life is a knowledge game. It's a knowledge game. Before you become a wisdom, it has to be a knowledge game. The mind is an incredible machine. The mind is so sophisticated, and anybody that will grow must know how to more of channel the power of the mind for one's productive growth, not destruction. So psychology, understanding how the mind works is very, very incredible important. We are meaning making machine. What we do when an event happens, it's not really the event that really make us feel terribly bad or worse. It is the meaning, how we label those events. And that's what it's when you know that you're taking that power away, it's like I can disconnect the power source. I know I'm feeling this way because of the stories I'm telling myself about this event, of the labels I'm putting to this event. It's not really the event because other people will not care, or if I'm different orientation, I may not care. I'm caring too much, beating myself up because of the meaning. Sometimes it's also about ego, and ego is good. There are many things that might cause it. It's also ego. Ego is also good, but unbridled ego can lead to one's fall. So you have to know you are a human being at the best, you know. So I'm saying there are things, you know, because there are many. For me, one of the benefits of knowledge is not to change things. One of the benefits of knowledge is to give you peace. You want to first of all understand why is this thing happening. Before say that, how do I stop this thing from happening? Because most people want to solve. No. Before you solve, and it's the same thing in startup and business world. You want to create product. Before you create product, what's really the pain point? Why is it occurring? Not the product, not the solution. We need to design problem first before we design solution. The same idea. So I'm trying to uncover why do we feel this way? Because if I know why I feel this way, first, again, understanding will give me peace. Even though I don't have answer yet, I know why I'm feeling this way. Because I'm labeling the situation. I know why I'm feeling this way. It's my ego. I know why I'm feeling this way. It's also the reason I'm feeling this way. Is also the kind of the story I'm telling myself. Now, to move out to the solution part of it, what we want to start thinking about is that one, the idea of growth is a journey. You made significant progress. You sleep. You pick yourself back up because eventually it's going to even out. Knowing that growth is a journey. And it's not about you being consistent then, it's about how quickly you can pick yourself up. So one thing people can do in that regard, that very practical one, things that can give you to someone can do if you're in that position. One is that to know that you have to tell yourself a new story. And you have to also be able to consciously count your wins. So it just, I mean, maybe you've been there before. People attended a very beautiful party and they asked them, what's your thought? I'm telling you, the most negative part of the party is going to be something that sticks to everybody's brain. Somehow, it just seems that the good part just disappear because human beings have experienced significant evolution over the year. You know, so there's a part of our brain that is very difficultly to attract negative. So to be positive, to see good thing out of your experience, you have to train your mind literally. So that's why it's important to journal, you know, to journal. These are things you can do. One, relabel the situation by looking for the good in that situation. Because by doing that, you are strengthening your mind. Second, you know that the idea of progress or growth is about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's not that you can keep up to date every day. No, you can fall. If you can do your gym probably 4 out of 7 days in a week, you are doing well, you're doing fine. Eventually, probably going to do 6, eventually you're going to do 7. But the idea is not that you're perfect, is that you can strike. You don't need 100% to have an A. You just need a 70. And a B is a good place to start. So if you are doing 60, so it's just it's reconstructing one bite. And also the last one is that you want to manage your tendency to be perfect, which is being happy with just saying it is okay to be in the game, because you want to be in the game long enough to win. Because if you're so consumed with you want to be excellent, it's like, well, it's about everything. See, people talk about perfection and routine and rhythm. The way everything works is that if you want to be a good writer, you want to write every day. It doesn't matter how you write, just write every day.
Yeah.
If you focus on writing an excellent piece, you won't be a great writer because you've not mastered the fundamentals of just showing up. Either you show up haphazardly, doesn't matter now. Eventually, we come in when we master that muscle of showing up, we'll build the how you show up later. But for now, I want to just train you to show up. So those are the things that people can change to manage those kind of situations.
This is honestly, I feel like, and I'm grateful for this because one of the things that I've told myself, even prior to now, and like I've told myself and all my businesses that I run is, I see every work that I do as seeds, and what I mean is, like, if I plant an Iroko tree now into the ground, I might not be alive enough to see it blossom.
Yeah.
But somebody else would be alive and would need shade, and they would go under that tree without knowing who planted it. But I would be happy that at least when they needed shade, they found something available. Because it's the thing of information. So when we do stuff like this, sometimes people always say, "Leave anywhere is the numbers." I'm like, yes, I know that for you to raise money, for you to get people to believe, you have to show numbers. But I believe in eternity and generations being converted. I don't want to use saved because it might sound very Christian. But I believe in the generational eternity being saved. That is showing you that you can only win 500,000 people today. Because what I know is that, like now, for example, because you can speak into my life and you can make change. And I'm the one that have the access to 1 million people. You don't, for example. And so because you have changed me, you have indirectly changed 1 million people. So when you are putting your stats, you say you only changed Nifemi and 2 people only came to my class. So but you have no idea that Nifemi is the one that has the access to 1 million people. And so that's why I'm really not a big fan of startup bringing. I mean, I get it for fundraising purposes, but I'm like, you are limiting impact. Like someone is looking at the company like Paystack, Piggyvest, and you're like, oh, we have 1,000,001 active users. Yes, but you know that business that has been able to process money with your platform. You know how many families have been impacted by that. Back to the conversation. So why I'm saying that is like, I really hope that resource will get to someone 20 years from now, and you'll be in the point where you're beating yourself down about a regression in your growth, and you would listen to this and you'll be like, yes. This is what I would do to be able to go back on my growth ladder and prove all the progress. So I want you to continue your point.
Thank you. I mean, those are very interesting reflections. Like someone said, we suffer more in our imagination than in reality, because like it's the time we spend trying to agonize and just sometimes it's necessary because we're a human being. You don't want to, sometimes you want to overtly accelerate those processes. You want to take your time, but eventually there's some time you just have to wipe your tears and get back to the game because you just want to stay long enough so that you can win, and that's very incredible. Yeah. All right. So some other things I want to share is just thinking about, goals and growth are very, very synonymous, but they're very unique. They kind of play different roles. So when you think about growth kind of offer you this opportunity. I mean, when you think about setting goal, it gives you that sense of direction, which is very, very important. And when you set goal, it gives you this clarity. We know the goalposts, just like in football. Imagine we're playing football, we don't have a clear goalpost. It's going to be chaotic. You have 22 people running on the field, about 90 minutes. There's nowhere to score. There's no rule. It's very hard to know if it's offside or if it's a goal. If it's on, it's very hard. So goals give you something to aspire to, a sense of direction. Which is very important. And because you have that, It gives you a sense of excitement. That's why when people set goal, they are very excited, which is very good. But the purpose of this conversation is to move it further and say that beyond goal, what does growth offers? And there's a significant difference between goals and growth. When you think about growth, growth is more about the journey. For instance, if I want to lose 30 kg, imagine, not 10 kg, that would be so probably too much. 10 kg. If all I could do for the first 3 months is to go to the gym and nothing changed, that is growth. I'm not accomplishing the goal of 10 kg, but me showing up is growth, because for me to show up, I've disciplined myself. I've changed my mind. My sleeping pattern has altered. Now I'm still exactly the same weight. Nothing has changed, but that's growth. So but if I've not accomplished the 10 kg, maybe I'm now out of 100, I'm now 90. I will feel like I've not accomplished anything, but I'm growing because I've altered my habits. I've made up my mind. Those are intangibles that cannot be quantified, but they means a lot and they impact the external results. So when you think about growth, we're talking about the journey, not just the destination. When you think about goal, sometimes you are probably you've done that before. After the new year, if you brought out probably
I do before the new year.
Exactly. You set the goal. When you see the goal, come on, you are excited. Oh, you are fired up. Come on, yes. But give it to February. You see, it's as if they put.
Lagos give you 1, 2.
I'm telling you, it just seems as if the old grease is melting by this vehement shining sun. The energy is drizzling away. People are losing. You're already find a way to recite those goals to something that is mentally accomplishable. You're trying to size things up. But when you think about goal is about maturity. It might not motivate you, it's about maturity. Now, we just discussed that people can feel terribly guilty about something that happened to them. And we're telling them that beyond the guilt, think about how you are labeling the situation. That's maturity. My feeling might not change, but now I'm processing my feeling through a particular lens and set of principle. The feeling is changing yet. That's maturity. Now I can bear pain. I'm in pain, but I'm in reasoning. And both of them are in power. And sometimes that's why you can support other people. So someone walk up to you in the office and they are the person is just lashing, anger. And you will give it back. What's going on. But now you can see through their pain. You could, because now you're processing. That person is mature. Well, that's growth. Because through several reflection, even though there's no goal, there's no goal that's actually motivating you. Now you've grown. So growth is about maturity. It may not really sometimes excite you, but it's about maturity. It's a tangible outcome. Yet and because sometimes people confuse both, is that goals are very seasonal. By the next 6 months, I want to do this. By the end of the year, I want to do this. Next 5 years, I want to go here. But life is so dynamic that those goals, there are many external situations that may alter them. But when you think about growth is a lifelong journey, and mostly within your control. Growth is within your control. Is within your control to decide if you're going to be a kind person or not. It's within your control to know how you're going to discipline. You have something to do with FX. But you say you want to build a house where FX can impact that, and you have nothing to do about that. But your attitude to that, what has happened through FX, you can control that. So we can think of growth within your control, because the indices that shift goals, growth are not really outside you. And more important, is a lifelong journey. It's not seasonal. It's not time bound. And that's why many people, when they hit some level of goal, they can probably slide down to more of just go back to power. So I'm going to share some few benefits of growth, and we're going to take another breather. One of the benefits of growth, like I've been saying, probably there's a pattern is about self-reflection, and that self-reflection breeds an immense level of self-awareness. I can't really grow me if I don't really know me. And self-awareness is that you are conscious of your intrinsic realities. The reality within your own world that people may not know. You know how you feel. You know why you feel the way you feel. You're conscious of it. It's about conscious competence. There are people that are unconsciously competent. They achieve significant results in their life, but they can't tell you the workings. They can't cook that event. or that scenario. They just stumble to it. But some people that are very conscious, competent, that's where we want to be. We want to become conscious, competent individual. That is, if I'm sad, I know what to do to change my emotion. If I'm really lazy, I know exactly what to do to make myself feel diligent. If I'm feeling overjoyous, I know what to do not to overshare. That is, I'm like a walking machine, and I have a leash on myself. I can rein myself because I'm consciously competent. You know, if I'm having conversation with a difficult person, I know what to do to break into their wall. I know. So this person is very nice. So there are many people that are very conscious, unconsciously competent, and a lot of them say, "Oh, he's a very funny person. He's just a mature." What is that? Well, some people they go religious. God is helping us. They can't really articulate what they are doing because level of self-awareness is not yet there. But a self-aware person that is consciously competent, they have capacity and they know what to do too because they are in tune with their own character, with their own feeling, and their intrinsic reality. Another thing and this is a result, benefit of being growth focused, not just be goal oriented, is that increases of awareness and how it impacts you, that self of perception. The second thing I want to mention that I want to share quickly is on when you become growth focused, you just become very increasingly resilient person. It builds you to be very strong. You just become tough because now it's not just about the goal, it's about the journey. You are keeping pace with your journey and you could see how something is changing in you. For instance, people used to say that, I used to say people that it is the storm that will really survive that really shows the measure of our strength. It's the storm that we survive. The test of our capacity is based on the storms that we survive as individual. Because it's not really about the fierceness of the storm that matter. It is the strength of your ship. Will it sink or will it float? That's what really matters. Because eventually something's going to. When you are growth focused, you are reflecting, and because you are reflecting, it gives you that capacity to be able to be stronger because you can see how you are measuring up to different circumstances, how you are showing up, and you are learning from those other events, and you are using that knowledge to tweak your approach. So you could see that increasing progress, and that build more resilience because you are strong. And the last thing that I want to share on growth benefits is that when you grow, automatically you position yourself to achieve your goals. Growth is like climbing up. Because you are climbing, you have a firm grip on the fence. You are not going to drop because you are climbing. It's who you are. It's like saying, "Oh, we're going to bring a popular musician to perform," and these musicians have released over 50 albums, top bills for multiple countries for over several weeks. He or she does not need to practice. It's who he is or it's who she is. Because that's goal. The goal is easy when you grow. And that to me is just easy because you are doing who you are. You don't need rehearse. You don't need to rehearse. You don't need to overstretch because you've become that entity that can do that. So those are the few benefits of those are the thing I want to share about the difference between growth and goal and the benefit. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a few stuff here and continue later.
And I think that's very, 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 very amazing because I think about it this way. So, and I'll use a personal example because I don't like sharing people's story. It's the same thing that you said that when you become something, things become natural. Let me say what I interpreted is things become a bit natural. So I'll give this example. So my uncle wanted to sell some phones, so he sent them to me to help him sell. Normally, I don't sell phones. It's not in my do list to sell phone. But I'm like, oh, bring it because I had this mindset at the beginning of this year that I want to become that person that knows how to get things done. So I will have opportunities to help people get things done, at least to build that mindset in people that need to get things done. And then he sent me the phone. My core is communications. And one of the things that I love to do is to be excellent. I've just found my way to always want more. In like if something is done, I just want to leave it haphazard and just go. So I recorded the video. I recorded a video for the phone. I designed like pictures and stuff for the phone, and I sent it to him. That this is the banner, that this is the video. Like people that sell phone on Instagram, they just take the same pictures, put on your hand. I designed something. And people like, this is just a phone they asked you to sell. Why are you designing? And I said to him that Nifemi is the one selling the phone. That's what makes the difference. Like, it's who I have become. I don't know how not to do things this way. It's like my family members always complain, we're going on a family trip I would design PowerPoint references. This one, I'm like, guys, this is what we are doing. They're like, that's what I've become. So imagine I now get a role that
Wow.
is $1 billion role, maybe managing comms.
Yeah.
These things will
Mm.
not be hard for me to do because
Definitely.
it's no longer a thing of, oh, it would be nice to do this. It is who I am. I have become
Mm.
that kind of person that knows how to get work done. It's the same
Yes.
thing with consistency. I've written every year for maybe for every week for 4 years consistently.
Wow.
Every Monday and every Friday, I write for. I have a Christian newspaper, public newsletter, and on Fridays I
Wow.
have like motivational newsletter. So every Monday and Friday, I've written for over 4 years. And
Wow.
now, if someone comes and meets me, Nifemi, can you help me write? It's not
Yes.
going to be like I need to.
Yes.
It's who I am because I have built consistency in writing. I have built consistency. I have become that. I have become someone that's right, not someone that does writing.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's what makes it interesting because if I set a goal to say I want to write 50 articles in a year,
Yes.
I don't have to set a goal. I
Mm.
automatically write more than 50 articles in a year.
Exactly.
So maybe I can now change it to say, like this year, I said, okay, I want to do more long form research kind of writing. So,
Mm.
which requires more of me sitting down, going to do research, ask questions. But
Yeah.
it's not saying that I will still not write. I still written like 3 different articles and scheduled it for
Wow.
the next 2 weeks today. So,
Wow.
and that's kind of changed the perspective. So let's go back to the money one. So we are not
Yes.
saying I want to save money. You're saying I
Mm.
want to become someone that is good with money. I
Yes.
want to become a good steward of money. So in that
Yes.
sense, you are telling yourself that okay, saving is part of being a good steward, but it does not end there.
Exactly.
Part of the process. So if I have gotten to the place whereby before where I was is anytime money comes to my account is for spending. So you
Yes.
have done that. You have beat that place to say anytime money comes to my account, God gets his own, my savings
Mm.
get my own, but then I get my own. You have
Mm.
now picked at that level because that's
Yes.
the thing about growth. If you don't move past a level, you would peak and eventually regress.
Yes. That's it. That's it.
You have stayed there too much that you're like, you need to move past there because if you
Mm.
don't move past there, life happens in motion. It's either
Yes.
you're moving upward or you're moving downward. You cannot be at a constant position for too long. It's either someone
Yeah.
will come and pull you out of it or you pull yourself out of it. And
Yeah.
so once you have stayed there for a long while, you have built consistency. I know how to save. When that money comes, the first thing is pay tight, save. Pay tight, save. Tight money you don't have any access to because it goes to the religious institution that you are
Yeah.
worshiping in. But your savings,
Yeah.
you have access to it. So what you should now be saying to yourself is that, okay, I know how to put 50K every month aside.
Mm.
I know how to put 200,000 naira every month. What do I want to do when that money comes in? If I
Yes.
know that, okay, I don't know, I don't have to, I don't, if money is in my account after 3 months, it's something I will spend it. Can you meet a friend and say, let me be saving this with you? After 1 year, we invest it somewhere. Can you meet someone and can you open a fixed account and say, this 50K, everyone else come away, it goes to you. In
Mm.
that way, you are moved away from just, so you have gone from always spending, you draw the
Yes.
pattern, saving, now investing. There's a
Mm.
point that you will come that you now have to be conscious about your investment because you have put a lump sum of money together. So after
Yes.
12 months, if you'll be saying 500K, you
Yes.
have over 6 million. So you're not
Mm.
saying to yourself, I have 6 million that I've saved,
Yes.
I've not
Mm.
touched. Now I need to do something with that money. I need to invest. I need to
Mm.
give to a missionary. I need to do this. I need to do this. And sometimes it's a dance.
I
Sometimes
agree
you
with
miss
you.
your leg and you come down and you have to tell yourself, see, one thing I've learned is, and I'll allow you to
Mm.
speak now, is that
Yeah, no worries.
what,
I'm enjoying it actually.
what you become, nobody can
Yeah.
take that from you.
Yes.
What you become. See, if you are, and I tell myself, so the fear is so, me as an example, the person with the money thing was me. So I used to be very bad with money. The
Mm.
fear has always been that I would go back to them. But then, as I'm listening, I said that I have become somebody that saves money now. I am no
Wow.
longer that kind of person. So you
Mm.
have to tell yourself that this is who I have become.
Yes. yes.
So if you
Perfect.
are going on becoming, it's like I have become that now. Nobody can take that from you. So if you are not someone that used to read a book before, you have
Yes.
become a reader. It's no longer I think I'm reading a book. No, that's who you are now. And only you can decide that you want to regress. So even you, it will be hard. You have to consciously regress as well. So I will hand over
Amazing.
to I hand
Thank
over
you.
to you.
Thank you. I think I really enjoy your reflection on our conversation. You kind of even expanded the conversation with some very practical examples of what you're doing in your life, and I think that just brought it home to more clearer picture, so people know what that looks like, and people can layer those the principle we're sharing, the perspective on those practical situations, and see how it just shape in their own unique situations.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So, a few things that I want to share, before we probably take few Q&As. Their growth is like it's like a growth is like a system, and it works with certain level of principles. So, growth is not just arbitrary. So, when you see people that grow, they work with some certain principles that make it happen. And I will share a few of them. One of them is that people that grow are very, very intentional. If you are not intentional, you can't grow. There has to be some level of intentionality because life is happening, work is happening, a lot of things are happening that naturally time, life abhors vacuum. Some things will take your time. So for you to grow, you have to be very intentional. I want to grow, and you make time for you to grow. That is, no matter what that will look like, the process of you growing, that intentionality will fuel you to procure necessary resources that make that a reality. And we've mentioned, I've probably overflogged this on this conversation about you need to date yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you can't improve yourself. I need to know me to improve me. And that, so the way you grow, you build your own unique growth strategy on the foundation of the awesome knowledge of who you are. The awesomeness, the depth of the knowledge of who you are gives you, when you know yourself, give you that capacity to more of design a more effective growth strategy for yourself. So intentionality, knowing yourself is critical. And this look like common, but I'm telling you, it's still very unique. You need to love yourself. Some people are not loving themselves enough. For you to really, really grow yourself, you need to love yourself, which means sometimes you need to be willing to endure some momentary pain for that big um envision new version of yourself that you have seen, that you have envisioned rather, the new vision that you've seen of yourself. And because you love that new version of you, you are willing to enjoy more, endure the temporary pain. So if I don't love me, I can't grow me. It's just very simple. And when I mean love, it's more of like a tough love, the love that pushes you. When you pushes yourself, you push yourself intentionally to get to that new dimension of yours, to unlock that new dimension. And like I was saying earlier, the fourth principle I want to share that's simple is you need to reflect a lot. Reflection seems very simple. You need to become like an investigative journalist in your own life. Like you step out of you. Let me give you an example. An event happened. Probably you're happy or you are unhappy about the result. Now you try to play the role of an external third party, observing yourself in real time as you go through the motions of that event. Let me give you an example. You're driving on Third Miller Bridge, something happened, someone bashed your car, and then you came out, word were exchanged, rage happened, people talk. Eventually, things got well settled, and then now you're back in your house, sitting down. In your mind, play the role of a third party. Watch yourself the way you react. Imagine why what you're saying. Why do you say those words? Why do you what informed the decision you're making at that moment? So you are like an objective. You're not trying to side yourself. The point is not to criticize yourself. The point is to observe yourself. To observe yourself. And that's very powerful. Reflect and investigate is a powerful principle of growth, because if you want to go into your reflection as what you did wrong or what you did right, you have missed it. But if you're going to your reflection by just being an observer, you just want to observe yourself, play that image in your mind. Just imagine yourself in your real time and say, why am I saying this? What informed this? The question is not to judge now, it's just to observe. You are objectively gathering data, both the good and bad, because they will all work. So, like they said, that life, you live life, You're living it forward, but you understand it backward. You kind of reflect and you understand. And that knowledge, you carry that knowledge to influence what you're going to do in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So the two other principles I want to share to wrap this up. One is that you need to build a growth systems. Ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary results when they have a system. And I give an example. There's a powerful book about atomic habits, very powerful book. I talk about if you want to break a bad habit and becoming about habit, habits are who we are. So it's something. When we talk about habit, it's something that are very close to home to what we're talking about. Changing your habit is a good way to measure your growth. If your habit is transforming to what you want to become, you're talking about you want to stop playing video games, and you're very addicted to video games. And the guy is saying that what you can do is that remove all the console and the pads, and ensure that they are all kept in a very far away place. Now, when you want to play video game, you have to go and fetch the pad, the console, and the cable, and set it up, and then start playing. The effort required to set it up is a deterrent that will not allow you to play that game because it takes effort. Now, that's a system. That's a system. You put a system that when I'm finished playing this game, I'm going to dismantle everything, keep them far apart, so that it will take me an average of 10 to 15 minutes to set it up. So when I'm tired, instead of just jumping to this simple reflex to just play the game, I've put so much deterrent in place that I'm discouraged from doing that. The other thing is that maybe you have on your phone, you have this app times you out on your social media per day, and for you to reset that time, you have to go to the setting and do multiple things. So it's not just clicking on Instagram icon now. It's a lot of effort. You have to do multiple steps to reset your phone, to unlock yourself. That deterrent reduce the time you're spending on social media. That's a system. The same way, if you want to read, you keep the books you want to read on your table. The books you want to read, they're all close to you. So at a stretch of arm, you're picking the book, even when you are feeling distracted from your work. You have put a system in place to make. So I'm trying to say that if you really want to grow, you have to have a system for your growth. Because with system, ordinary people do extraordinary things. And the last thing that I'm going to share on principle is that give it time. All good things takes time. So if you want to grow, you have to learn to be patient. And that's why it's about the journey. Are you showing up? Even though there's no significant progress, are you showing up? Then just stay in the game. You want to stay in the game long enough so that you can win.
Yeah.
So those are the principles I like to share. We can take a breather now and then we'll come back to some of those ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that the part I really like the most is love yourself, and that's part I like to speak on because people can misconstrue the conversation of love yourself to mean that move at every whims that you have. So the idea of flesh is that flesh or skin or physical satisfaction is that everything that will give you that immediate comfort is what you're gearing towards. Oh, my laptop is bad. It's not very comfortable for me. You can afford to buy a new one, but then you know that you're saving towards something. And can you endure using an what's it called? External keyboard for 3 months at least?
Yes.
To be able to get, and I know it's tougher in Nigeria because by the time it's 3 months' time, the money has doubled. So use wisdom in this climate to listen to what we're saying. So just use wisdom to kind of understand the different contexts. But the goal is loving yourself is beyond satisfying every whims that comes. It's asking myself, do I love myself enough to wait for me to become who I want to be by enduring who I am today? By enduring this situation. So do I love myself enough to know that, okay, I want to be a honest person. So even when I'm going to be punished, I would say the truth because I know that is who I see me becoming. Do I love myself enough to be a social person? And people say this thing a lot of times, my company needs business. It's like, you don't talk to people. You don't go on LinkedIn or social media to talk because you're thinking like that's not my space. And I'm like, do you love yourself enough to go beyond who you were meant to, who you are currently to become who you want to be? Because there's a stage whereby, look at Tony Newman, for example. He does not need to put anything on his social pages to get people to come and visit him because he has built now, and now he's at the stage where he can decide not to have a personal brand. Nothing is going to affect him directly because he has built that capacity. but you're not there now. So that person that you want to become, someone that's not on socials every time, you have to unbecome that person in this time to
Yes.
become that person. And it's that game that we are playing to ensure that, okay, I love myself enough to not put myself in danger, to care for myself, to take care of myself, self-care, blah, blah, blah. But I also love myself enough to endure circumstances because I see a version of myself that I have not yet become. And for me to
Yes.
become, I have to endure pain. I have to endure, and pain is loose. Like it's not really pain sometimes. You're not suffering.
Yes.
I don't say
Yeah.
no. You want to lie? No. You don't want to cheat on your
Mhm.
girlfriend? No. It's not pain.
No.
Just
Yes.
you want to spend money that you don't have? No. Like
Yes.
it's not pain. Like I give you an example. Like I like
Yes.
to use myself because I feel like it's more practical. Because when people have this conversation, they feel like me and you are already knowledge masters and we move on with our lives easily without this thing. So one of the things that I've always done consistently is that at every month in time I would always find a way to borrow money. So I said to myself
Wow.
that I would not. I would
Okay.
rather spend my own money to zero than
Mm.
borrow money. So as you can
Mm.
see, I am telling myself that I am becoming someone that does not borrow money again. So
Yes.
you see,
Yes.
it's so when I become that person, or I have actually become that person that does not borrow money, it means that I will not have to set a new becoming target to say I want to
Mm.
become that person that does not spend all his money.
Yes.
You,
Yes. Yes.
you see the direction.
Yes.
So
It's journey.
currently,
It's a journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I am enjoying the pain of me seeing my money depleting. It's painful
Mm.
because the
Yes.
easier way is to just call Fikun and say, my guy, how far? If you give me like
Yes.
300K, my money will
Yes.
still be looking at me eyeball to eyeball, but I have
Yes.
borrowed money to solve that initial need. But now I've
Mm.
told myself that, okay, I'm not going to borrow again. So it means that if I need to make this expenditure, it has to come from my account.
Yes.
So the pain of seeing my money on zero, whereby you go, oh, I don't have money for this thing, no, is there. So when you have become that person, I'm saying the next stage is not to spend all your money.
Mm.
So it means that you have stopped from overspending your money that will
Yes.
lead you to borrowing, to
Yes.
like it's to now not spending all that you have left. So you have become two different people and you have endured several things in those times. So I have loved myself enough to say I will never be
Mm.
called a debtor again.
Yes. Yes.
Like, do you understand? Like, I have loved
Mm.
myself enough. It's not a typical kind of love that's here. Because a typical kind of love that you hear, you say, live
Yes.
life, chop
Exactly.
life, one gang, nothing. That's what you kind of hear everywhere. But I've told myself that I have loved myself enough to say I wouldn't be a debtor anymore.
Excellent.
Like I would rather be a
Mm.
creditor. So now I've moved that to now say I've loved myself enough to say I would be a better steward of
I
money,
mean,
whereby I don't have to spend. So you see that you are growing from just one level
yes.
to another
Yes.
level.
Yes.
When you get there to be like, when you don't spend all your money, you not say, I love myself enough to say I want to give. I love myself enough to say I want to start borrowing banks money. I
Yes.
love myself to say I want to start investing in companies. Do
Mm.
you see
Yes.
who you are now becoming? So at the time when you get to that investing in company, you're no longer even thinking about being a debtor because it is
Yes.
no longer your reality. It is
Exactly.
long gone. You're no
Exactly.
longer thinking about spending all your money. It is long gone. Where your mind is focused on is like, money 50 million. If I take three from you to go and invest in this thing,
Mm.
like because you know that see you have excess of 50. You are
Mm.
not thinking of spending the 50, you are not thinking of borrowing 20, but thinking of spending three. So you have grown in like 5 stages to be
Mm.
able to become that person. Yeah, so that's
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I wrote some things down and you were just spot on. One, I'll probably step back a bit, and that's why I documented it so that I won't forget. You mentioned Tolu Elumelu. Guys, if you're watching it from anywhere, Tolu Elumelu is one of the business tycoon in Africa, arguably globally, exceptional business person. Um, and then something that struck me about him and other older people in their 50s and 60s that do something incredible in any specific sphere of business and life is that their capacity to manage their brand. I'll step back. When we have just radios and televisions and newspaper, these guys were riding it. Now we're in the age of digital media, social media. These guys are riding it. And the question is who they are. These guys know how to manage their perception, irrespective of the instrument or the vehicle you are using. The guys have millions of followers, And a lot of people like Dele Muhammadu and all those guys, they are in their 60s and 50s, but they've harnessed the power of social media, even though they are not young people. When they were in radio stage, they were writing it. Newspaper, they were writing it. So it doesn't matter about the two. It's about who you are. And that agility to even morph themselves, even in their whole age, to that digital media and still be visible. That landscape is incredible. It's about who they are. So tomorrow, if we move to virtual reality, where we've created our own avatar, and now we interact in the social space by our avatar. My avatar can be having conversation with you. I don't even know, somewhere I don't even know. I will be seeing the tweet from my own avatar. Why is this guy saying this? Because now he has his mind of his own, something like that. These guys, you will see them there. God sparing them, they will still be there. You know why? Because it's who they are. They've learned to be relevant, irrespective of the medium or what is going on, and that speaks to the conversation about growth. So, just dovetail into the few the later part of my conversation on some of my content I intend to share with the audience. Now, this idea of growth, the benefits, the difference, the principle. The question is that how do you decide how to grow? You can't grow 365 degrees at the same time because it's not work to grow. And that's why I want to talk about this. How do you decide how to grow? Well, the only way to decide how to grow is for you to assess yourself in some areas that are very, very important to you. If we don't, without evaluation, we can improve. So I want to grow myself. Now I've heard you, I want to grow. Starting point, I need to evaluate myself. And I need to identify what are the areas I want to evaluate myself on. What are the things that I want to evaluate myself on? I want to evaluate myself on different things around probably my vision, my clarity, my convictions, my own self-awareness. They're mostly intrinsic things, my character, my talent, my giftings. I want to evaluate myself on those intrinsic things, and I want to identify them because for you it can be different, for another person it can be different. The thing that makes me intrinsically, I want to evaluate that, my character, my habits. I want to evaluate those things, and you want to evaluate them and you want to rate yourself. How am I doing? You identify those areas, those intrinsic areas, and you want to evaluate yourself. How are you doing? You can make it as objective as possible. Probably, you see. We want to build business. We write business plan. We want to spend years in hospital, in institution, and in hospital to learn to become master craft. But when we talk about building our lives, we think it's too mechanical. When we talk about documenting, using framework, your life is like a business. It's possible. It makes sense to evaluate it with framework. You can really evaluate and say, how am I doing as regard my character on the scale of 1 to 10, and be objective about it. If you're saying 5, why 5? How am I doing my emotional management, emotional intelligence? How am I doing? Am I 7? Why am I 7? You have to poke yourself. Why am I 7? So it has to be that objective. When you say that, it's not just that, I think I'm doing fine. You won't do that if you want to build a business. You want to see the numbers. So I want to see the numbers for myself too. How am I doing by regard to numbers? I know there are nuances and there are some subtle differences, but that's the basis. The basic you can do is to evaluate yourself in an objective way. And what you're looking for 2 things. You're looking for the 2 areas where you are doing exceptionally well, and you're looking for 2 areas where you need to develop yourself. You want to find those 2 areas because you know why? You can't grow 360 degrees all the time in every area. The sheer amount of work required to make progress in a particular area through growth, because you are pushing against the grain, is too much. That I want to grow this area. There are people, they set up goal in the beginning of the year, they already failed before they start because it's just too much. From the Atomic Habit book, if you can make 1% improvement in a day, in a year, you probably make over 30%. If all of us can improve 20% better version of ourselves as today, we'll become magic. Literally, we'll become magic. In fact, you can do 10%, you become a magic. You become a magic to your world. You don't need to say I want to be 100%. 100% is too ambitious and unrealistic. And that's why when you do this analysis, you're looking for the 2 places where you have the highest score, and there's a framework or workbook for this, and 2 places you have the least score, the lowest score. And what you want to do now, you want to now zoom into those places where you have the highest score. I'll tell you, I have this code that most people investigate their failure. Only people investigate their success. People don't investigate their successes. They don't why do I win? I've made an incredible say when we are back in school, said, I have an A in that course. When they have an a D. They gave me a D. Nobody always claim, but they claim I have an A, I had an A in that course, and oh, they gave me B or they gave me D. People don't. Why do I have an A? Why am I doing well in my finances? Why am I doing well in my relationship? I need to investigate it. Okay, I've scored myself 7 in my emotional intelligence, or I've set myself 10 in my clarity. Why? You need to ask that why. You need to uncover what is working. You know why? You can export things that are working in one area of your life to other area where they are not working, because it's the same principle. That's why people, they do well. A lot of people are saying most billionaires, most of them have challenge in their relationship, but they spend about 14 to 16 hours, 18 hours working at their business every day. So it makes sense for them to have success in those areas because they are investing there. So if you have area where you are doing exceptionally well, you want to investigate, why am I doing very well in this area? Because if you can uncover what is working, you might be able to export it to other area where you are struggling. The same idea. You want to say, which area am I struggling hard, and why am I struggling in this area? And you investigate, why am I struggling here? What's the root cause? Because if you can find the root cause, you can find out to change those things. So it's not just saying, oh, you have to, and then there's this 5 why principle. Okay, I woke up late. I'm late at work. Why are you late at work? Well, I woke up late. Why do you wake up late? You woke up late because the alarm clock is broken. Why is the alarm clock broken? It's broken because, and why is it not fixed? Because you forget to fix it. So sometimes you say, oh, why do you wake up late? Well, I wake up late because of traffic. Well, it's not traffic. Why do you enter the traffic? You woke up late. Why do you wake up late? There was no alarm clock. So you have to ask those, you have to dig deep. So sometimes the first set of reasons why you think something is happening is not the reason why they're happening. You have to dig deep to find it. You have to excavate to see what's really under this thing. And you keep asking those why questions. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable, especially if someone is asking you. But even you, when you ask yourself, it will be even more uncomfortable because you need to excavate those things to really get to root cause. Like I've just told you, giving a practical example. Someone gets to work and it's making about traffic. It's about traffic. It's not about traffic. The guy woke up late. Why? His alarm is not working. Why? He didn't fix the alarm. So really, the issue is that if I fix the alarm, all other whys will become irrelevant. But if you just stay on the surface, that is just the traffic. It's not as if it's traffic. And we behave that way, and we analyze and we evaluate our life in that way. We don't dig deep enough to find the true root cause of what is keeping us probably stuck. Those are things you do. Then when you do that, you understand what is working and what's not working. Then you now move to the next step of now building a plan, and now you can grow. And then you have to break those plans, like normal things you do for growth planning, to something you can do practically every week and every day. And beyond those every work, the third step you want to take is to act. There are many people that maybe you have been there before. You spend so much time drafting your vision board, your plan. You were so filled with joy from the work of the planning that you were so overwhelmed, you didn't do anything. The joy, the satisfaction that you can see from even planning already, you have a lot of incentive that you don't do anything again. So no matter how much you plan, like I said, your starting plan is to evaluate. The second step is to plan now, based on the insight you've derived a lot of insight about yourself, what is working, what is not. And you plan in a way that is quantifiable, like normal goal, although this goal now is about your growth. It's not really about achieving things, more about who you're going to become. And the last thing you want to do is you want to start. And when you start, you keep evaluating because you never stop evaluating. Now, the last thing I will say is that environments are very powerful. There are very few set of people that can superimpose themselves over unfavorable environments. The best thing you can do for yourself is to put yourself in the most favorable environment that will enable you to flourish in anything you want to do. That's why people say if you want to lose weight, join a gymming group of people. If you want to watch football, want to become a good player, join people that are playing football. So no matter what you do about this journey of transformation, you must find the right environment. And the right environment are things you can do that will enable. So I call this the growth enabler. Things you do that accelerates, I'll give you faster pace to how you grow. Is to find a mentor. Mentorship is very fine. I've been there. So you're not using all your time and your limited resources to wing through life. You don't winging things. You know people that have been there. Like I said earlier, it's a knowledge game. The more you know, the better you make decision, the better. So you want to very invest yourself in knowledge area where you want to grow. You want to read as much as possible, and more importantly, you want to put yourself in network and events. Like they say, people are made by events, by places, and by occurrence. So people are made by event, places, and occurrence. So those are things that change people. We're made by people we meet, events we've been to, our places we've been to, and the experiences that we have. So when you immerse yourself in the right network and events, you probably yourself you load yourself with a lot of knowledge, and you have mentorship. Those things help you support that growth decision you've made, to be able to go in the right direction. And that's all I want to share with you guys today. Now we can probably talk about other contributions or questions. Yeah, that's all from my end.
I feel like this is more of like there's no need for questions, just like go and start doing something. When
Yeah.
you mentioned something, you said that you have a framework
Yes.
how people. I don't know if it's something that you can share. Is it proprietary to you?
Yeah, it's proprietary, but I'll probably talk after this episode what we can do about that. But it's part
Okay.
of the product. Yeah, that
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
what I just explained, more of give people tools to practically do that exercise, more of like a workshop
Mhm.
material. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. Because you said that you have the so maybe what I heard was like you had like a tool, well, not a tool, like something that help people to be able to do all that. No, you
yeah.
said that.
It's a tool. It's a workshop tool. It's a workshop
So
into where yeah. Good people can either do personally or through group. You can go through the exercise and
exercise.
you have, yes, from the starting point when you finish, you have that clear cut growth system.
Fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I don't think I have any questions. I think that this has been amazing. In the aspect of it, because I feel like now I'm grateful that we waited this long because everything happened in its right time and the right
Yeah.
place. But I think that this has been more than amazing. So what we'll do after now is to put it all together, edit the video,
Yeah.
send it out to the community via email. Also trying to show some snippets on YouTube, on Instagram, which we would collaborate with you as well. But thank you. This has been I always say this that and it's more of a selfish. Whatever thing I do, I'm always the first recipient. So I don't 100% always think that I am doing something for some people. Like it
Mm.
sounds selfish, but I don't go
Yeah.
into something that I'm doing and say, like I am going there for me first.
Yeah.
If by
Yeah.
chance you're good at this, it's all well and good, but like I am always the first recipient of whatever I'm doing. And anytime I'm about to have a session, I'm always like tired. I'm like, ah, if I mean, who sent you to do this? You should just go and sleep. But at every time, I always get myself wrong and just say that I'm so glad we had this session because
Amen.
the volume of information, the volume of knowledge, encouragement that you shared, it's something that people pay millions of dollars to stand and hear someone speak. And I just want to say thank you for sharing the time with us.
Thank
It's
you.
been an amazing one and a few hours with you.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I really enjoyed it, and thanks so much for the invite.
Thank you. So thank you everyone. We have the clarity sessions once in a month. This year has been our most inconsistent year. Well, a lot happened in personal lives. It's been very inconsistent. But we are getting back. I think we only missed 1 year to be fair. So it's not as inconsistent as I thought. We only missed 1 month. So, but we are back on it. And so this was supposed to be our June session, but I think the week we had a program in church, the last Friday of the month, so I had to find a way to reschedule for that. So this is our June session. The next one is July. We're currently trying to speak with someone that has been a food photographer a chef and a photographer for most of his life, and see if we can have that conversation with him and just so hopefully we can close out the conversation with him quickly so that we can start advertising that. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and it's been an amazing time. Thank you, Fikun. Everyone should follow Fikun on Instagram, Fikun Aluko, on LinkedIn, Fikun Aluko. Everywhere you see Fikun Aluko, please follow him and you'll be blessed. So thank you everyone. Have an
Thanks so much.
amazing. Thank you so much, Fikun. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. If you can stop the recording.
All right, give me a